The Carolina Panthers stifled the New York Jets, winning the game, their first road win of the season, 13-6, and Jaycee Horn yet again proved he is the best cornerback in the NFL. Jaycee Horn was absolutely unbelievable for the Panthers yet again in this game. Now, I got to bring this up. This is why us fans were a little upset against the Cowboys. Like, why is he not on George Pickens exactly? Where are you putting him? Why are you keeping him away from Mike Jackson over there? But this game, you saw it. I mean, Jaycee Horn was just flying around and late in the game, two huge spots. The first one up 13-3. They had just missed on a bomb, the Jets did. They were going for another one. And Horn makes one of the best interceptions I've seen all season. Now, there's been a couple of these, but to do it, in that situation, going deep, just a one-handed pick, that was just a crazy pick in the end zone to give the Panthers the ball. And again, remember, at this point, for those who didn't watch, Bryce Young out in the game. Offense was kind of without your starting quarterback. They weren't bad, but they definitely weren't really moving the ball. And so for Horn to get that stop was huge. But then again, 13-6, they again try to go deep at Jaycee Horn. I mean, he played it like he was the wide receiver, easily cutting off Josh Reynolds, picking off the ball. That is his second interception of the season. Number one for cornerbacks so far in the league. And Jaycee Horn, just an absolute dominating end to the game. And really, we got to give a shout out to everyone on that Panthers defense. Yes, it's the Jets. Yes, the Jets do suck. Yes, they do. I know. And yes, did they bench their quarterback at halftime? Absolutely. And Tyrod's out there kind of doing stuff, but still holding any team to 6 points. I mean, I'm watching everyone gas up the Chiefs doing it to the Raiders. We got to give the Panthers some credit as well. That D-line was absolutely screaming. And let's be honest, they're not the Broncos D-line, so I didn't know that they were going to be able to get this much pressure, but they were cooking both of them. And Justin Fields, a lot of times, he'll stand there and not do anything, but the fact they were getting pressure on Tyrod Taylor as well just is a great sign. Derek Brown, the D-tackle, was dominant this game. He had 2 of those sacks, and he was just game-wrecking for a lot of the game as well as being crucial and stuffing the run that the Jets like to use. And Nick Scroton out there, sack and a half, he was out there as well, making plays. What really, I'm going to be honest, what was impressive to me, though, from the Panthers defense was the fact that Evero and Ejiro Evero, I feel like this is one of the most quoted. I always look up this guy's name, man. I always forget who he is, and then I remember, oh yeah, the old Ravens guy who was highly touted, who everyone had fired. Well, this game, they started doing some new. I'm sorry, the Broncos guy, not the Ravens guy. My bad. But this game, he started doing some stuff where they started just sending pressure at the Jets, and it worked every time. The Jets, again, very bad O-line, terrible. They do allow the 4th most sacks in the league, or at least they allow 4. It might be the 3rd most sacks in the league. They allow 4 a game, but you got 6. And the blitzes that they were sending were crazy, very well timed, and I really liked the scheme on those. And they would call them at the best times, and it was very effective. Great job from the defense, holding the Jets to under 100 rushing yards. Another game where they do that. That run defense has looked elite recently throughout the year. Remember what they did to Bijan, where Bijan didn't do anything, and that was a game where they actually were trying to run the ball. And Atlanta, as we know, the number 1 running offense in the league. But Carolina right now, they're 9th in stopping the run, allowing 94 yards per game. That might go up a little bit. And they're 17th in stopping the pass. So they're not great defensively. But this game specifically, they were out there making huge plays on the defensive end. And I was impressed. Even Mike Jackson with a deflection right before that Jaycee Horn pick. Impressive stuff. Offensively, I got to be honest, I really did. Now, this is tough, right? Again, for those who didn't watch, Bryce Young left the game. He is now doubtful. They said he probably will not play with a high ankle sprain against the Bills next week, and obviously we're going to touch more on that game. But offensively, what Dave Canales has started to do with this offense is very impressive because he's built it around their strengths. They now win under center. They tried to start Chuba. Chuba had some stuff going, but the play that they called, the play action fake, and then having Chuba leak out the back end on the left for a screen when it looked like they were trying to set up a deep over was just impressive, and that got the ball to the 3, and that helped become a touchdown where Bryce Young, beautiful pocket by Bryce, getting the ball to Leggett. I'm bummed because I actually think Bryce played pretty well, doing exactly what they needed him to do. No turnovers, no passes that even looked risky. And, I mean, we saw the Broncos turning the ball over against this Jets defense, and the Jets defense was out there fighting. They just didn't give them those opportunities. They'd rather punt than do that, and it was good stuff. Even when Dalton came in, he was doing a good job with that as well. And to that point, Dave Canales, 13-6, Dalton in, didn't want to give the Jets the ball again. Dials up a bomb to Xavier Leggett. Leggett had a very good game too, where I'm sure they were sticking on Tet McMillan, not letting him do anything. But Leggett, 9 catches, 92 yards and that touchdown for Bryce Young. But this play, the Dalton bomb, that was huge to kind of seal the game. I just like how they've built it out. And I think this game, it kind of came more established. They tried to give Chubb a chance. But Dowdle, 17 rushes, 80 yards. Chubb, 14 rushes, 40 yards. That's cool. He's clearly the number 2, the speed guy. But Dowdle, as soon as he came in the game, you could kind of feel his presence. He also had a quick catch for like 15 yards. I'm like, yeah, Dowdle's definitely the guy. And as much as they respectfully wanted Chuba to kind of still be the starter, he's the number 2. But I really like what Dave has started to do with this offense. He didn't waver from the run game at all in this game. There was a lot of easy passes, not as many, you know what I mean, stand back there, Bryce, and try to make some deep play. There's a lot of quick passes, runs, and the scheme, and I'm telling you, man, that screen to cook up that touchdown was the only touchdown in the game, was very impressive stuff and a great call, and one of the best. A lot of teams like to do this play where they do a play action fake to the running back and they do some sort of screen, whether it's to the tight end or to the running back, a lot from under center. And sometimes they call it, I'm like, why did they do that? But to have him go out, this is now back-to-back weeks that he's dialed up a beautiful play to the running back. Last week it was Dowdle on that little scissors route for a touchdown, and this time that one got him to the 3-yard line. It's really impressive stuff with Dave Canales, how he's working within his team. Bryce is better under center. The run game is much better under center, obviously, and they are using it to their benefit, and I'm very impressed with what Canales is doing. Now, unfortunately, like I mentioned, Bryce Young missing. He left the game around halftime, and I think he was playing very, very well, and he will more than likely miss this Bills game, which it just sucks, right? Like, I think Bryce has been getting better every week. Now, I did call him trash early in the year. I thought he was done, and I told people I was off the bandwagon loudly. But I think they're coming together, and he's been better this week, better in these more recent weeks. Even against the Cowboys, he had 1 interception, but that wasn't really his fault. And I think somewhere around in the Dolphins game, it kind of like the flip switch, like, oh, I have a good team. I finally have a good team. I don't have to force it. And don't look now, by the way, the Panthers have won 3 straight. Now, they did get smoked before that by the Patriots, but they've won 4 out of 5. And the Panthers, hey, look, impressive stuff. I actually do think, man, if they have Bryce or had Bryce, this Bills game would be very interesting because I almost think the Panthers are more talented than the Bills. Now, the Bills have a better coach and better quarterback. I have to say yes right now. But the talent level, the Panthers are a really talented team. This defense is flying. And offensively, I think they just have more weapons than the Bills. I know the Bills have James Cook. It depends on if Kincaid is playing. But I definitely think there's a case. But if Bryce Young doesn't play, I'm not thinking that Andy Dalton is going to win that game. But it would be an interesting one for the Panthers at home. They're undefeated at home. No Bryce, obviously, would be a killer. But next couple of weeks, you get the Bills and then the Packers. Man, we need Bryce back in, man, for me, I think, because this Panthers team, it's tough, too, because they're 4-2, but they're still the 9th seed because the NFC is that difficult. But, man, I really like what they've been doing these recent weeks. I like how they're building toward their personnel. I like how they're continuing to go through things and get better every single week at something. But, obviously, big test with Josh Allen and the Bills, and they're coming off a bye, and they're pretty mad. They've just lost 2 in a row, so definitely interested in that game. Even if we don't get Bryce, I expect the Panthers right now, the way they're playing, to put up a fight. They're strong in areas that can bother the Bills. And then the Packers, I think that one might be a little tougher just because there's not going to be that quite the same talent thing, specifically with the Packers having more defensive personnel than the Bills. But for the Panthers, impressive win. This is a game you couldn't drop, and they didn't drop it if you want to make the playoffs. And at the beginning of the season, part of the reason I was so mad at Bryce early was in my previews, I was like, yo, in the previews, I don't even know if I ever released them, but I was thinking, like, looking at the schedules, like, the Panthers could kind of sort of be a fringe playoff team, assuming that I don't trust the Falcons, which I still don't, and that the Bucs are the number 1 team. Some of these teams are going to get wild. Now, the NFC West is going crazy, right? But you've beaten the Cowboys. The Cowboys have a tie, unfortunately, so you can't even use that. But you have beaten them, and you've beaten the Falcons already as well. I'm interested in the Panthers for sure. Going forward, I like what Dave Canales has started to do with this team and how Bryce has been playing. Hopefully he comes back because the Panthers are becoming a really, really interesting fringe playoff team. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please watch some of the other videos on the site. I've created a playlist with each and every football team, and every week we will be going over those games. I'm really loving this, enjoying it, and hoping you guys are as well. Of course, like, subscribe, and if anyone wants to sponsor, we're looking for Lumia Sports Productions is looking for sponsors. Shout us out. We will shout you out during the video. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy.